Hello, you beautiful, amazing people, and welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bar. It is Keltie beside Savvy Wavy One. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful, glorious, rainy day on the island.
Ooh.
I know. I went to train one of my friends this morning and it poured down rain and my Jeep hydroplaned. So that was lovely.
That's like my
I know.
fear. Moments like that, I don't miss driving. I hear stuff like that. I'm like, I'll take my walks.
Yeah, especially living in Seattle, I was used to the hydroplane, but I've never hydroplaned on brick in an island with palm trees. But we made it.
Okay, maybe dumb question. Do you guys not have cement? You drive on just bricks? Or is that just
No, we don't just drive on bricks.
Okay, I was like, wait, what?
I was driving into the gym to train her and we were hydroplaning and I was like, noted, brick slippery.
Yeah, I just pictured Yellow Brick Road. Do you remember it? I was like, really? That seems really impractical.
Not that outdated here.
You never know. You never know. That's why I was like, I don't want to judge, but I'm curious.
That's true. How's your Monday?
It's been hectic, which will be part of my hot take, actually, if I could just jump right into it, because I went and did gymnastics training, Olympic gymnastics training this morning, and it was humbling as I expected. I have no gymnastics background, no dancing background, and my hot take is beside every Olympic video, there should be a little pop-up video playing in the bottom corner of a regular person attempting every move. Or there should be a little fake CGI'd person running beside the 100-meter. Because so people are like, oh, how'd they miss that? I'm like, I couldn't get over the bar. And these girls are flipping around. I'm like, and I'm athletic. And I couldn't get my feet over the bar. I'm like, how are they doing it? So that's my hot take is I think they should put just a regular Joe like us in a little video beside, just to show people how impressive it really is.
I agree. Did you never do gymnastics growing up?
I did it for I don't know if you guys had it. We had something called Rumble Tumble or something. And it was a summer camp and you do 2 hours of gymnastics and 2 hours of badminton, 2 hours of tennis. But that was it. I wasn't a gymnastics girly. I did things with balls and make a joke of that if you wish.
I was like, I get that though. Cause I feel like your body type isn't for gymnastics. There are very specific body types for certain sports, right? Of course, every body type can do it. But
fully.
Gymnasts are very successful if they're shorter and they have a lot of muscle on them, right? They have those really muscular body frames.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I feel when you're taller and you're trying to flip, do kips, balance beam. It's just you're higher above what you're trying to land.
I got extra limbs in the way, all that kind of stuff. I'm farther away from the ground. So yeah, that's why everybody's great. Swimming, great. Volleyball, great. I was actually too short even for volleyball because they are all over 6 foot at some point. But just swimming, running, good. Gymnastics, I just need to be compacted. It was just me and just squished down. Then I probably could have been a gymnast.
No, that's amazing. Plus, not a lot of adults pick up gymnastics.
Fully. And that's why I was like, it's a fun skill being able to do a handstand. I've never done a cartwheel. Confession.
What?
Never done it. Never did a cartwheel. I know. It just never crossed. And by the time I realized it, everyone else was doing cartwheels. And I was like, oh, I'm just skipping this skill.
That is nuts. No round offs, nothing.
Well, I've done it, but I can't do it, if that makes sense. It's not pretty. Yeah. So it's done, but my feet are bent. I fall half the time. I can do volleyball dives. That's kind of neat, but that's kind of it.
That is not gymnastics.
No, but that's the closest I have. I was able to do a pretty darn nice somersault today.
There you go.
So you know what?
I love it.
Do it too.
Yeah, I'm I did gymnastics for a long time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Hence, I've got the beefy thighs for gymnastics.
Yeah.
Had the muscular upper body. Yeah. But I did bars because I was so buff with my upper body. It's all upper body strength. Yeah. And then tumbling. And I can still do certain things. I'm sure if you gave me a trampoline, I could do a back handspring. Yeah. But my flexibility, she's gone. During the season, you have to actively, you can get your splits, right? But you have to actively do your splits every single day, 2 to 3 times a day. And I'm just too lazy. But I remember thinking that was a cool thing when I was in 7th grade. And also thinking you're hot shit when you're wearing a leotard.
True. And it's just like such good party tricks. Such good party tricks as well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that sounds fun. And I'm excited. I'm assuming that's for a YouTube video.
It is coming in a few weeks, just in time for the Olympics. So that was my point. That was the point of the video. So now people can watch an average Joe do it. And when you see Simone Biles do it, you'll be like, oh, my Keltie couldn't get over the bar. I'm like, I know.
I love that.
Just
did you watch her documentary?
Oh, yeah. Second we saw that, instant binge.
Is it good? I haven't watched it. No.
It's really good. It's really good. It just gives you like, especially there was so much drama last Olympics
with her husband.
Really, yeah. Oh, that too. They didn't touch that. I had to explain that to Megs, but they just talk about like her and like the mental health, and it really annoyed me because I feel like Simone Biles, a lot of people were like, just rub dirt in it. Like, you're an athlete, you should be able to mental, and they really show how she couldn't have competed. Like, I think that was a really nice, like, I kind of could put 2 and 2 together, but like seeing this documentary, I was like, anyone who said she should have just like sucked it up is like, you were asking a death sentence of her, lack of better terms. Like, so I was like, you know what? I'm really glad. And it's just goes to show how amazing she is. Not that no one thought it, but just classic documentaries.
She's also like one of the oldest gymnasts, isn't she? Which is just wild.
Great. Yeah, she's in her late 20s and like, oh, how's she doing it? Which is so crazy with gymnastics, how young they are.
It is. See? Yeah. So I'm like, a lot of adults can't do it. Did you ever watch the movie Stick It?
Was that like, it's old, right? That's like 10,
it's super
15.
old.
When
I did gymnastics, we would have sleepovers at the gymnastics like area and watch Stick It. It was fantastic.
What good memories.
Yeah.
What good memories.
But that's what I think of. And they're going to the Olympics, right? And then like I stopped doing gymnastics because it's lonely. It's like I didn't have that much fun with it. So then I switched to volleyball. And also I wasn't like amazing. Like I hated vault and I hated beam. I used to eat shit on the beam and it scared me. So I refused to do it. Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you're not willing to be an all around, where that means you do all of them when you're young, they're kind of like, just give it up. That's at least what I did. Yeah.
Crazy. Just the more you know. I had no idea.
Okay. Well, my hot take has to do with the show. Have you seen Owning Manhattan?
Oh no, but I want to. I have a go on.
Good. Okay, so you know who Ryan Serhant is, right?
Yeah, that's what I would love to talk about. So go on, of course.
Okay.
You too.
So for those that don't know, Ryan Serhant is this realtor that actually like brought buying homes to social media, where he would like have these really nice videos of him giving luxury house tours, and it kind of inspired a lot of real estate to start doing that in order to sell homes, right? So he created his own TV show, and it's very similar to Selling Sunsets. It is super cringy. Like the drama is so scripted. It's unreal. And like I didn't know he used to be an actor, so it's very on brand of like he doesn't mind that kind of stuff. It paints him very well. He looks amazing. Like he acts amazing, he looks amazing, he's cute with his family. But what's wild is like these homes they're selling, they'll be like, oh, like I have to deal with this $5 million home in Hudson Yards. And it's like a 3-bedroom apartment with like 90s curtains. And I'm like, 5 million?
Yeah.
And then
how?
Like, it's just wild. I did not realize that Owning Manhattan, like New Yorkers deal with so much more money than like Selling Sunsets does on the show. Yeah. And you know how Selling Sunsets, they're all like Dior and like Louis Vuitton, like they're just like decked out, right? They look fabulous. These New Yorkers don't give a flying fuck what they're wearing. I mean, they look nice, but they're very like humble. And I kind of like that about New York because there's hidden money in New York, where LA is very flashy.
It's so like West Coast, East Coast in that sense. You know what I mean? Like New York is the epitome of like quiet luxury. If you know, you know, like you could be a celebrity just walking down the street kind of thing, versus LA. It's like, no, I'm a celebrity. I'm a celebrity. Of course I'm judging, not everyone, but that's why you have to. That's part of the LA game. You have to go there and be like, I'm here to be famous. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to look
New Yorkers, it's like, you would never know if somebody's a runway model or I mean, people like celebrities walk all the time next to you and you just don't notice. Like they're hiding. They're incognito.
Yeah. Great thing about New York. Do you want to know a fun little cool thing about Ryan though? So I don't know if I've heard anyone say it, so I want to say it. So this is just like a fun, you never know where life will take you. So I watched a documentary, or another YouTuber interviewed him, And so, like we said, he's a massive YouTuber. Like he's YouTuber golden boy. Like if you know YouTube, how's in you know him. And he said he started off with in LA, wanting to be an actor, wanting his own TV show. And that was his entire goal. And he spent his whole life. And then through a series of events, he realized it wasn't going to happen. He started selling homes and that became his thing. And then he's like, oh, I got some on skill talent, so I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Then that blew up his career. And now he has a TV show. So it was such a funny thing of like, sometimes you just have to trust that intuition. And it brought him like full circle. And now he has his own TV show on Netflix. And he's a bigger TV star than he could have ever been instead of just being like extras in Hollywood. I'm like, that's just fun. That's a fun story.
We looked him up online. He had like, he was an actor for like daytime TV.
Yeah.
Then he got on $1 Million Listing. And then that was a TV show. And then he actually had 2 spinoffs before this, all about him.
Oh, I didn't know he
just
had
was
the
not
spinoffs.
Famous. Where Netflix, I mean, if you get a reality show on Netflix, like, I mean, that's getting distributed to like however many countries, different languages. But if you watch this, the drama is what's so bad. Like they could improve it because it'll be like villainy and like you can just tell it's acting. Like this one girl will be like, her name's Savannah. And it would be like, oh man, like I can't pay my rent. And this girl's like, would you like a listing with me? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so written, like the way they act. And then one of them, there's this battle of like this guy's bullying one of them. And somehow the camera crew is in the coffee shop while she's just working on her laptop. And he just somehow runs into her at this coffee shop and gives her this like gaslighting apology. But that I'm like, could be improved as simple as like, have it at like the parties or in the office so it's not so scripted. So Selling Sunsets has that on them because those girls know how to fight. They know how to get drama.
I will say, and that's LA. That's why LA, where LA is better than New York. They're like, oh, we are actually actresses. They're like, literally. New York's like, no, we're actually real estate agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a second hot take?
No, that was it. That's all I got for this week. I'm burnt out after that gymnastics. You got a second?
Okay, I do. So I've been debating on cutting my hair into a bob. Like above my shoulder bob. Whoa. I know. And I used to fear short hair because I did it one time in college. It took me forever to grow my hair back. And like what's so weird is I was uploading on our Instagram page and our recent one was like spring or summer trends. And you were like the bob. And it panned to me and I was like, I just know it wouldn't look good on me. I wouldn't do it. And this bitch, me over here, 2 months later is like, I want the bob. Give me the bob.
Yep.
Should I do it?
The bob girlies are selling it. I won't lie. Every time I see a girl get a bob, I'm like, yeah, it looks amazing.
You would look cute with a bob.
No, I had a bob when I took out my extensions, my hair was destroyed. I saw it. It's fine. I can decently pull it off, but it's just, I like my long hair and I have nothing against it, but you should try, like go get those like wigs. You know what I mean? Just test it out. You just kind of see. Get an idea. I'd say test run it.
But like, where's the fun in that?
Or just raw dog it and go for it.
I really am like, I plan on like, I want to cut my hair and then my friend will fix it. Like, because I think I need it. I need the freeing feeling of like, I think women so many times attach their worth to their beauty. That's normal, right? Yeah. The vanity, that's so normal. And for me, I've always been like, my long hair is what makes me beautiful and like how I can style it. And now I'm like, I kind of just want to scare myself. I think that's a good thing to do. And then maybe it's a quarter life crisis. Could be. Like sometimes I just get mad at myself for being scared. And I'm like, just do it, lady. Just chop it off. And if it looks bad, get extensions.
And sometimes you just need to do those things just to exit off. You're like, either you'll fall in love with it or you can stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this didn't work. I have extensions. I'll grow your hair. If that's the thing, it's not permanent. So if it doesn't look good, you know what? You're married.
You're committing for wedding. Like, stop. You're married. Actually, my thoughts though. But
really though, if you were about to get married, I'd be like, sorry, not till after the wedding. That's a good friend. That's a good friend.
I'm like, well, I already got Michael. I could shave my head and he'd still be like stunning. And you know what's so funny? I did a test. I was like, I love to test Michael. And I'm like, so every time I've dyed my hair, he is so supportive. He loves it. He has nicknames every time I dye my hair of like, I'm a new girl. And I was like, what do you think on short hair? Because he's never seen me with it, which is sad. It's been 8 years and I've never cut my hair. And he was like, I don't know, I think you'd look great. And then I'm like, really? And he's like, is this a trick question? But like, I was like, well, you're married to me, so you kind of have to commit. But then he's over here like, I need my hair cut. I'm like, don't cut your hair. So we can say, ladies, we can say, don't cut your hair, but they cannot say, don't cut your hair.
And the reason is they don't know. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what looks good or not. We know what looks good or not. So that's why when they say it, it's like, no, we spend all day looking at ourselves. Guys probably go weeks without looking in the mirror. Like they actually don't know. And I'm not
cutting my hair for boys. I'm cutting my hair for women and me.
Yeah.
Like it's like how you dress for women. And like if it was up to Michael, I would wear hoochie outfits all the time. Like, you know how some guys are like, cover up my wife. Michael is the opposite. He's like, you should dress more slutty. Love it. Like he's always like, yeah, girl, get it. And I'm always like, no, that's like not that cute for me. And then I'll like wear this cute blazer or whatever. And he's like, oh, that looks really nice. I'm like, it's for the girls. Like we know. If we know, we know.
Girl compliments are the best compliments.
Yeah. Okay, now this is my last one. And this is an update. Guess who was at my gym last weekend? He is a famous actor known for one role. One role. Everybody knows the role. Every human knows this role. If not, that's sad.
Only one role they're known for?
One role they're known for. They can't get away.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes! He was at my gym.
Oh my God, I guessed it. Crazy. What a good job. Wow. Well, I'm
Look
so
at
proud
you.
of myself. Wow.
Look at you.
Look.
Potter girly.
Poor Harry will never escape ever. It's been a decade.
It's the one role. Other than like, there's Twilight, but like they've actually done a good job of getting away from this. Daniel Radcliffe, every time I watch a movie with him, I'm like, just freaking use your powers, man, and go on. Like, come on.
You know what? Yeah.
You want to hear the story?
Yes.
So I hang out with my friend Hannah and we have coffee. This is last Monday. And she's very pregnant now. She's probably like 8 months, right? So it's obvious she's pregnant. So I get coffee with her. I'm like, okay, I have to go work. Got to film my podcast. See you later. She goes to the gym. Michael goes to the gym. Michael comes back. He's like, I saw Hannah. I told her she looked very pregnant. And I said, never say that to a woman. No. And he goes, well, she's about to be due, so I don't think that's bad. And I'm like, okay, men. So then I know in the back of my mind, he saw Hannah. Hannah texted me the next day saying, by the way, I saw Harry Potter at the gym. Just, that's all. That's all she sent me. And I'm like, are you referring to Michael as Harry Potter because you saw Michael? You know how like some people are like, oh, I've never heard he looks like Harry Potter. But I was like, maybe it's a joke. And I'm like, do you mean Michael Hummel? And he's like, she's like, no, Harry Potter. And she sends me this video. And in the video, he literally is staring her down, like saying, what the fuck, lady? Like, stop taking a video of me. She was like, I had never pulled my email up so fast, but I got it. And like the screenshot of him just staring at her. But yeah, he just casually was in our local community gym.
Wow.
And Michael, so I told Michael and he's like, I saw him. I noticed him. But he was like, I just didn't register it was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just like going to be like, hey man, are you done with that dumbbell? And you're like, Harry Potter?
I'd be like, I'm high right now. Like someone spiked my water. I'd be like, there's no way. Like it's especially out of context, but that's why he can't escape it. He's so clearly Harry Potter. He's exactly what we all envisioned. Like he was just, but you know, I don't think he can be that upset. That man must be worth.
That was my next question. Would someone do you think that they actually get upset?
He definitely like tried to like talk about how he doesn't want to be Harry Potter. There's many interviews, especially at the beginning of his thing, but he did a lot of artsy things. So I think like he just decided, I'm not going to do anything mainstream. I'm going to be really artsy film and do that kind of route and just get respect amongst my peers. And I think that's the only way without, because like nothing will top it. He's going to do Marvel and then he's still a caricature or however
like
you say that word.
He still needs magic. Yeah.
It's just, you know, got to lean into it.
Especially when you make that much money. And like, I think Zac Efron did the same thing. I think a lot of these people do that where they're kind of mad. Like Selena Gomez has talked about how she hated being compared to Wizards of Waverly Place. But like, then as they get older, they actually appreciate it. And they're like, oh, you know, that actually gave me a start. And then everyone plays into that, like being like, that's so refreshing. You liked this, you know, and you're not just like dogging on it. But yeah, so there's, for context, he, like, the community gym I go to is attached to a certain resort. And so he must have been at the resort. Like, all these random celebrities will go to it. I've never stayed at this resort because it's so nice. But like, for some weird reason, my community gym is in that bubble. And that's how he's not just randomly going to a Planet Fitness. I don't think he could. Yeah.
I mean,
but amazing.
Or maybe that's the trick, because people would be like, oh, there's no way it's actually him. Whereas he goes into Equinox, people are like, oh, it's Daniel Radcliffe.
Totally. Like the Aloe gym.
Yeah. Well, like, couldn't escape. But I think honestly, that's the key. Just one little piece of disguise, Planet Fitness. No one would assume. They're like, no way.
Literally. We were joking though, because there's a hotel gym that I'll sneak into to work out, like if it's too crowded. And like the celebrities go there and you're not allowed to film. Like they could get you in trouble, and they've said no filming with your phone because there's so many random, like, I feel like I just don't recognize a lot of these people if they are there. But I was like, oh, it's so weird. And I asked Michael, I'm like, why did he go to the local gym? And he's like, yeah, he probably thought it wasn't that nice and then went back to the hotel gym. I'm like, probably. True, because it's not as nice as a hotel gym. But so everybody, we had Harry Potter on the island and I loved it.
Wow. What a blessing. What a blessing.
I know. But like, you nailed it. I'm like, who else?
I know.
It would be like, Harry Potter.
That was the only one, but it's like, there's no way she saw Harry Potter. So I almost didn't want to guess it, but I'm like, you know what? Worst comes to worst, it's a good guess. I'm like, but it was the right guess.
Nailed it.
Proud of myself.
All right. Well, shall we get into the headlines for today?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. These are more of discussions. But first headline, Jason Keltie. We all know I'm obsessed with the Kelties at the moment, as one Swiftie is. Kylie shared basically like this really sad health news, slamming false reports. And the false reports that people were going around saying was that Kylie was pregnant. And I think she's already had 3 kids. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know her too well. But she made this comment. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to hear your take on how all these media outlets, or even just on like social media, how people will hint, whether it's celebrities, influencers, like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant. If you gained weight, you must be pregnant. You look pregnant. When what she was saying is like, she's like, I've actually in the past dealt with miscarriage. And like, she was kind of highlighting like, this is incredibly insensitive to a woman to be like, hey, are you pregnant? Where if they actually are, they're going to come to you and they're going to share it because you don't know the trauma behind maybe trying to get pregnant. Maybe they just gained weight and that's a really hard thing for them. And maybe they're dealing with something. So what do you think on everybody kind of, I mean, you see it everywhere of people, if you gain weight, are you pregnant? Where they don't do that with men for sure, obviously.
Definitely. Well, normally I like to be nice girl and just, please. This is something I'll get flat out angry about. And like, people need to stop. There is no appropriate time to guess someone's pregnant, because we'll paint every picture. Number 1, she is pregnant. It's a healthy pregnancy. Don't burst her bubble. It's the most exciting thing to announce that they're nervous about. There's a reason they haven't announced it yet. So stop speculating. Stop bursting someone's surprise just because you're an investigator. Second, she just is Taylor Swift. I know gets it all the time on Eras Tour. People zooming in when she breathes. Let women breathe. Like sometimes it's just like, you should take a big gap. I have it. And like, pregnant. I've gotten that one time. I had a video. It was the end of the day. I filmed a ballet and I'd eaten 3 meals. Like, oh my God, you're pregnant. I'm like, great. I feel really good about that. Like we were already self-aware. And like you said, the worst case scenario, we don't know how many miscarriages, infidelity people are going through. Like, do you know how harmful? Like someone could have been trying for 3 years and not successful. And because of the hormones they're taking, they look pregnant, but they're not. Like that's like just dirt in the wound. So it's just one of those things. There is literally never a good time to ask if someone's pregnant. Just like you just back away, even if you can kind of tell theoretically, like you see it in the back room, they have a kitty crib for me. Like, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter. You zip your lips.
I agree. Sometimes I think people that are like in the limelight, I think people that see them, they assume they owe them some explanation or sharing. But it's like at the end of the day, no matter how famous they are or whatever, they're human. And like especially now, infertility is actually quite common. Like it's being spoken a lot more and normalized, where back in the day with our parents' age, nobody really talked about that. Like it was kind of like, I think women almost felt ashamed of it, or, you know, they felt like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? But then if you talk to people now, it's like actually quite normal to deal with that. And makes people not feel so alone, right? But so I liked that she talked about that, because I'm sure there's lots of women that could identify with it. But I just have been seeing this everywhere, even on influencers. And like, even in the past, I've gotten that like so many times, because my weight actually really does fluctuate off and on, like throughout the years. And when you build your online persona of like, when I was obsessed with the gym, I was super lean, right? And then I go through waves of it being like 4 to 5 years of me being online. And some waves I actually am like, I have gained weight, but like I'm happy, I'm busy, whatever it is. Maybe I'm bulking. People will always comment like, oh, she's pregnant. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear that. And freaking send it to yourself. Like, don't publicly. Anybody that publicly says that, there's something wrong with you. There's something weird. Like, just send it to your friend. But there's nothing worse. Have you ever had someone DM you something and they meant to send it to a friend?
There was like, no, actually not too much now. Like occasionally it happens and it's just like funny. Like they send a meme that happens all the time. I'm like, great meme. Thank you for it. But I can distinctly remember one time when I was just like a wannabe YouTuber, and like a friend of a friend sent one like calling me out. I'm like, oh, that made me feel great. Like,
did you respond?
No, I was just like, it got resolved. Oh my God, so sorry. I was just kind of like, okay, thank you, bye. Like, I was like, okay, I thought we were friends. Okay, no, we're not.
Unfollow.
Yeah, awkward. So I just moved. I had no more emotional space for that one.
Yeah. No, there's actually one girl. She said something to me recently, and it just didn't make sense. It was like it was an outfit I was wearing. It wasn't mean though. But I thought she was asking me about the outfit, and I was like, oh, I don't actually understand what you mean. And she was like, oh my God, I meant to send this to my boyfriend. And she was saying she like liked the outfit, and she was like talking about wanting to dress a certain way. And then she ended up signing up for my one-on-one program, and she's like a gal that I train. So that's fun. And it all happened off of, she accidentally DM'd me something that meant to go to her boyfriend. And that I'm like, I never care. But
I mean, there's a way to slide into guys' DMs though. Just like saying funny and mean when start a conversation. Like, oh my God, so embarrassing. I was supposed to be to my friend. Like, no worries. Oh, how are you doing?
Yes. Brilliant.
Oh my God. Sorry, like a guy. There you go. There's my little tip of the day for you.
Is that okay? So you and I have been in a relationship for a long time, right? Is that how, you know, do you ever think if you were to have to go back into the dating world, how would you approach it? For me, I'm like, I think I would just read a lot of books for a long time.
Yeah.
And not get into the dating. But if I had to, that sounds like a nice approach, because the Hinge and all of that sounds scary.
Yeah.
But if you could just DM somebody and see if they like it, what's wrong with that?
I know. See, you guys started dating before the dating apps, right?
I've never dated online.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, they're not that scary. Honestly, they're just gambling. That's the thing. They're just your dopamine. You just like, there's very few of them that are actually good ways to meet someone. But hey, I'm a success story, so it definitely works.
Wait, but you didn't meet Megs online.
Yeah, we met on an app.
I thought you knew him, like a mutual.
No, we had mutuals, and then I did my research on him when I found out. I was like, I don't trust this man in his profession, but everything's kind of nice. I was just like talking to people, you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm like, but then I was like, okay, if I'm actually going to meet this man, and then luckily we lived in the same city for a couple of years. So then I did my research. But yeah, we met on an app. So.
Okay. It's just wild. Like, I can't imagine. Like, I'll ask my friend Sam lives in New York, and the story she tells me is truly unreal. Like, one of her guys she started dating, he was, what is it called? It's not Amish. Mennonite. And she had no idea, because it obviously doesn't get shared on Hinge. And then she started going out with him, and then he like started talking about it, and she was like, oh, I don't know if that's compatible. But like, I just hear these funny stories where she's like, I had no idea. It was just pictures of him. Like,
true.
And she went out a few times, and then he kind of, you know, popped it being like, I'm Mennonite. And she was like, oh, interesting.
Fun. So yeah, many stories. Honestly though, it's just fun. It's just like interesting. That's why they don't work. Like, especially Tinder and Bumble. are not actually meant to. It obviously works, but it's just fun to swipe and like, oh, who is single in the city? And I just remember that's the only time I'd use it. It was like 9 p.m. I'm bored on the couch. I'd gone through Instagram, like, let's just swipe through, see, and like never match, because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna match with you on Tinder.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So, okay, I love it. That's too funny. But yeah, that'd be a good way, ladies. Take notes. Okay, headline number 2. So, have you heard of Katy Perry right now? How she's launching a new album, and she has this new song called "It's a Woman's World," and I'm gonna. It's actually quite catchy, not gonna lie. But I'm curious, what do you think of? I feel like Katy Perry has like gotten like rough around the edges with like her PR team, in the sense of like she can be really mean on the shows that she hosts, like American Idol, or I don't know if it's Voice, but like I've seen clips that don't like highlight her in a nice way. And then this album came out, and like a lot of people were saying it's kind of stuck in the 2010, 2016 teenage dream era. What do you think?
So full confession, I haven't watched it. So this is just me responding to all the Discord, because I've heard a lot of Discord of it. And like, that's why I should watch it before I give like my full stamp of approval. But my feelers out with what I'm seeing is just like, it was, for example, of like feminism and like just the women can do anything. It's a woman's world. And like, it's not just about our beauty and our looks. But then the irony is that she looks absolutely hot and flawless in it. And it's just like one of those weird things. So like it would have been progressive in the 2010s, but it's like, I think it was just one of those. This was her idea. She wanted to have that woman empowerment, but she's also proud of how she looks, because she looks amazing. So she's like, oh, but I'm not going to get ugly for this. Or like, maybe I should watch it. I want to know if she was trying to be like so meta that she lost the plot. Because one of two things: she's stuck in 2010, like idea of like women aren't just about their looks kind of thing, because that would have worked back then. Or is she like trying to go, and so the next step would have been her actually, not for the male gaze, for the female gaze. But then it's like maybe she went full one more loop, was like, no, however I dress doesn't matter if it's for male or female gaze. This is just how I like to dress. I'm not saying that is, but I was like, maybe that was her intention, to go full meta, full 360 loop, and just she missed the plot. But I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that's just some thoughts I had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think also it shows, a lot of people are talking about how back in 2010, if you had like a catchy beat, like "Last Friday Night," like that's a great song. "I Kissed a Girl," great song. There's no depth though, right? So they're now kind of saying that music is changing in the sense of like there's top hits and like bangers, but like people for a whole album, they want depth. So like they're like these people that are very like unique sounding and might not sound very radio are getting really famous. Like I think of Gracie Abrams, and like I just started listening to her, and like I like her because I like her lyrics. So like a lot of people are talking about how there's like more meanings to songs. Like you have to try harder is what they're saying. It's like it's no longer 2010. It's not that easy. And it's so saturated because TikTok has made like Noah Khan, like all these people so famous, right? That aren't that like cookie cutter pop or, Hollywood looking person. So they have to fight to like stay in that like, I don't know, heightened talent. You can't just like sing about whatever. You have to have like something that resonates.
The one thing I think about, I talk about this with like my music professor quite often, is like we're in the age of AI, and making a Katy Perry song, I could make you one not with AI super fast. Like just that classic bop EDM, like there's like a formula to it. So we've all heard it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like done. But on this flip side, AI can pump them out like crazy. So it's almost like anytime we hear anything 2010 pop, there's like a sense of it being AI. And I won't lie, a lot of times it is now, because the music industry does have a lot of AI tools. So that's definitely the case. But the reason like the Zach Bryans, the Noah Kahns are blowing up so much is like, especially Zach Bryan, like a lot of his first songs that blew up are filmed on an iPhone. Like they're not the best quality, but you can tell it's from a human. Like even like I've tried to remix a bunch of Noah Kahan's songs, and they're really hard to remix because they're not perfect. They're not perfectly online with the beat, because it's actually a human just playing. And so it's not going to be perfect. And like, but then that's where that like emotion comes from. And you listen to music 90% of the time for emotion. So you want an emotion. Like AI can make bops, I'm not going to lie. But like, that's why I think like people are bored of just the classic cookie cutter because they don't trust that it's not AI.
Yeah. They want like that human touch.
They want it to, like, the words someone's speaking is like from an actual life experience, not just like AI knows humans get sad after a breakup.
Yeah.
They're like, they want like specifics that like, they're like, oh my God, I feel that too. And that's like, which why those people have blown up so much. And like, I love to hear that because that's one fear. Like as a musician, it's kind of sad. Like I spent so much long the last year learning music to now know I can make it in 5 seconds on AI. I'm like, oh, glad I went back to school for that.
True.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like Taylor Swift's lyrics. Like I like
that's why
knowing
she's popular.
Those like what it means, you know, like it's always, I'm not going to lie. You guys know I'm reading the Court of Thorns and Roses and I literally will play a song and be like, man, this is so Feyre and Rise like coded or like Tamlin coded, like these characters in the books. And I'm like, ooh, I like love it. That's basically everybody else is living their life. You know, maybe they got drama in their life. Meanwhile, I'm over here reading my book. And I'm listening to Taylor Swift thinking, man, this would go really well with the book.
Soundtrack opportunity.
It's a hobby. Literally. Okay, so next headline is going to be a little rapid fire. We didn't get to play it last week. Hot or not, controversial pop culture opinions.
Now, I have to ask, are these all your opinions or just controversial ones you've seen?
What I've seen. So basically somebody came out with all of these lists and like he was giving his take and this is his take and it's kind of like hot or not. Tell me if you agree with this guy that wrote the article or you don't. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Number 1, it's weird that TV shows and movies are being edited after they're released because they received a negative piece of criticism. And an example I'll give you is 13 Reasons Why. They actually edited the show because they showed how like the teenager killed herself and like suicide rates rose and people were doing it the way she did. So like that's really dark. So sorry guys. But that's like an example. Or if there's something like politically incorrect, people are removing it now. What do you think on that?
If it's something that would literally cause harm, like I won't lie, like if they realize they made a mistake that's like causing harm, I think like they should remove it. So I say, I don't know if his take was bad, but at the same time, if it's something that's like not really harming someone, it was just out of date, I think maybe put a disclaimer or something. Like, I think it's important to see how we've progressed. Do you know what I mean? And like, versus like we learn lessons and sometimes like you go back and watch a 90s movie and you're like, oh my God, we don't say that. And it's a lesson how far we come. So like, I like when you put a little disclaimer of like, we do not believe in this. This is, you know what I mean? Like somehow put like a blurb or something. Like we have technology, we have AI, put a blurb.
I completely agree. Cause I think there is some art to like you being in the 90s and that's what was acceptable back then. Yeah. Right. So it's like you're erasing history at that point with like what it was like back then and what people talk about. But I completely agree with 13 Reasons Why. Like, I'm sorry, if you're trying to prevent that, but it's actually raising and like glamorizing that and kids are watching it, I think when there's children, absolutely remove that. Like, I think when I'm a mom, I would be so crazy about what my kids watch.
Fully. Or maybe just like my rationale is like they should upgrade the like, I think that 13 should be rated R. Like, I think that should be like the biggest thing, like the rating, like maybe don't change it. But unfortunately, that's not a kid's show. Like, you know what I mean? And I think it's like changing those things up of like, this, you need to be 25 with your brain fully formed before you can watch this.
Definitely. Okay. 2. It's time for us as society to move past spin-offs and reboot series.
100%, but also I don't think it's possible. We should.
I agree.
Movie industry shot itself in the foot because they made these Marvel things, and that's the only thing that's deemed success. Yeah. But like, and so but now they killed it. I don't want to see another Marvel sequel. I'm sorry. Like,
I know
you're killing.
But it's love-hate because think of like your childhood show, and you're like, oh my God, they're making a spin-off, a reboot, and then it always sucks. I've never watched a reboot that I liked more. Then like even I'm watching Sex and the City and I started just like that and I'm like, hate this, hate it. So it's like, it ruins the nostalgia. So I agree. Let's stop doing it. But I also understand it's a moneymaker. So
I like, that's why I was like, I don't like it, but it's not, it's what we've done. We've dug ourselves a hole, and I don't know how we get out. I don't know how we get out.
Yeah. Okay, next one. A song should always have a bridge. I wholeheartedly agree with this.
Yeah.
What do you think as a DJ?
Like, I mean, like, a song should always have a breakdown because bridge, breakdown, kind of same thing. Like, physically, if there's not a breakdown, it's kind of a lot of work for a DJ. Like, it's like transitioning songs.
But a singer-songwriter.
Yeah. But like, I'm saying, like, it just is for DJing, it's important. But like, as just a singer and that, it's great. Like, I love that freedom. It's a great thing. But also, I kind of like, there should be no rules in music. If the writer feels this is the way it goes, I'm like, whatever the person, I just don't like when they're doing it for streams. They cut a song as short as possible so it gets more streams. I'm like, let a song be a minute. I miss when like 10-minute songs, let's do a 5-minute song. Like, I don't like has to be 2 minutes, cut out the crap so it's, you know, streamed as much as possible. So I guess, yeah, I would say yes. But I'm like, I'm not too hard of the bridge has to be the reason. They're on 3 bridges for all I care.
Yeah. Okay. Now, most original series on streaming platforms need to have at least 13 episodes per season. AKA, they have to give more context. Really, I think yes. If I'm going to commit to a whole season, I want to know every single thing they're doing. I don't want sped up.
True, but sometimes I'm like, there's that hybrid thing that the streaming services have created, where it's like, it's not, I don't want to sit through a 3-hour movie, but it doesn't have to be like spread out for like, it's a perfect 3-part series. Like, that's where I'm kind of like, whatever is like enough building of character development and cut out the fluff. I don't like to extend it. I'm like, whatever makes it perfection, that I leave every episode happy. Like House of Dragons right now, not happy.
No.
Game of Thrones, happy.
I couldn't. We literally started watching the spinoff called Snake Oil. It's so dumb but entertaining. To wait to watch House of Dragons last night, and I fell asleep before I even got to House of Dragons. Like, I wasn't excited to stay awake, so I went to bed at 9.
You missed nothing. Nothing happened this episode except one kiss.
Great.
There was one kiss. That was it.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay. We shouldn't completely move away from a TV binging model that streaming services are known for. I agree.
Move away. I think it's, I'm not team binge. I'm team Game of Thrones. We wait for it. It's one thing. If a season's done, it's fully, but I'm team, the series comes out 1 episode per week. And that's why Game of Thrones was so good, because we all had to wait and we built you know what I mean? And that was part of the magic. And there's something about waiting every Sunday for something. And then once it's out, binge it. Because you missed it. You missed but I miss when we all woke up Monday morning and talked about Game of Thrones. Like, I get that so much. I miss that so much.
The only thing for me is like, if you're somebody that like I could watch something and it'll leave my brain and I will not remember I watched this movie. So I struggle with that. I don't remember what happened. So it's not that special to me. I'm a binger though. I binge my books. I binge everything. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm team binge just because I feel like I can't focus. Yeah. But I did American Horror Story, the new one with Kim Kardashian. They dropped like 6 episodes. Then I swear they waited like 8 months to release the others. I don't know what had happened. I don't know if it had to do with strike, but it was so annoying because I tried to get back into it and I can't remember the storyline, so I gave up. So they technically lost a viewer just because they waited so long to launch the like second half. And that I was like, and it's like so creepy. I was like, I'm just not even going to try and get back into the show. I'm just going to move on from it. And that I feel like would be upsetting to hear if I was an American Horror Story producer.
Yeah. They should have, that's where they should have not dropped 6. They should have paced it out like 1 every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So probably obviously something happened, but the binge, but not like, don't do the half. Either pick one or the other. Binge it or weekly. No in between.
I agree. We can agree on that. Yeah.
I agree. Meet in the middle.
Yeah. Because Bridgerton did that with the newest one. And they waited a month and I was like, I don't remember what happened.
No.
But that was a great season. Did you watch this season's Bridgerton?
I never got into Bridgerton. I meant to, but just never got to.
I love the spice. Okay. Well, I know we need to wrap this up. So I'm going to say one confession session.
Please.
And we'll move on. So a listener said, at the gym yesterday, I was doing medicine ball throws with kind of that rebound trampoline. I used either the wrong type of ball or clearly did not use this contraption correctly, because the 20-pound ball came back and hit me directly in the face, and I broke my nose and there was blood everywhere. I was crying and bleeding and embarrassed because it was an avoided accident. The worst thing about this is not a single patron or employee of the gym said anything to me. No one asked if I was okay, offered me ice, or even held the door for me as I was trying to hold my nose to stop the bleeding. Now I have a broken nose, no dignity, and a lot of resentment towards my current gym.
First, cancel your gym. Like, that's so, I would be,
right?
Oh my God. I'd be like, okay, I see where we all stand. You do not care about my physical well-being at all at a gym. Like, that you're only there for your physical well-being and you're having a medical crisis. Cancel it. Move on.
Maybe they
do not deserve
awkward.
Your money. I don't care. Someone's dying. Like, this.
I mean, I agree, but I'm like, I just don't know. Like, they've got to notice that. But you'd think an employee, like, that's like, if there's blood, that's even like dangerous for everybody. Yeah. Like, so you should get that cleaned up and ask her.
Yeah. I'm like, I have many of questions that you're like, the, personal trainers, the janitors, someone would be like, yeah, that's like a biohazard, your blood. Like, not even, you know what I mean? So
definitely.
I'm worried. You got a lot of introverts at your gym, I think.
Absolutely.
Nervous.
Yeah.
That's frightening. But we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. We've all embarrassed ourselves at a gym somehow.
Or just figuring out the right medicine ball for those throws. Like, there's a lesson for us all. Do a couple practice rounds where the ball will not be back at you. Do it so you're angled a few. Like, you dip to the side and kind of do one of the side ones before you use your face.
I agree. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. We have loved being back. Don't forget to leave a review, write something in, confess to us, ask a question, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.